Hi guys, welcome back to the Creative Corner. I am your local, friendly, amazing author, W.A. Ashes. You can call me Ashes, you can call me W.A., you could call me Wanda. That's not my name is not Wanda. But I always tell people when they say, hey, what does the W stand for? I usually am like, oh, it stands for Wanda, or Winifred. Sometimes I say Wilma, but usually it's Wanda. So anyway, welcome back to the Creative Corner. We are going to have a book review today and talk about The Midnight Library while I work on this blanket for a friend of mine, author Amber M. Kastner. She commissioned it, and so I am Seahawk colors, and I am halfway done with the base of it, and then I'm going to have to do the border, which will be done in double crochet, and then I'm going to tassel it. The tasseling will honestly take the longest because I have to individually tie every single one. And we're looking at close to 1,000, probably, tassels because it's 150 on each end. And then you have about 350 to 450 on the edges, probably. I'm actually not sure how long it is. I'm kind of just going. But yeah, and so it's going to be a long process. So I will probably throw on a book or a movie during that so I can tassel that. And I will probably not show you the tasseling, but we'll see. So we're talking about The Midnight Library today by Matt Haig, H-A-I-G. I read this book when I was sad and depressed. I don't recommend that. It's a good book, but I don't recommend reading it if you're already sad. Right off the bat, there's a pet death, and no matter what this character does, this cat dies. And it makes me sad because at the beginning of the book, so basically she's suffering from depression and suicidal ideation, and so she decides to end things and takes her own life, but it doesn't quite go. She attempts it, okay? And so she ends up in a series of bad events basically led her to do this. And she ends up in this almost sort of purgatory, this land between the living and the dead. And for her, it's a big library. She finds out later on that for every person who ends up here, it looks different. For her, it's a big library, and the gatekeeper is her elementary library teacher, okay? And so while she's there, the teacher says, this is your chance to see a different life. If you find a life you want to live, you can stay in that world, but you only have so long. Once, the time is up, and they don't really explain how the time is kept track. Once the time is up, she either dies or gets stuck in a world, all right? And so she is on this quest of finding a new life, and the first thing she wants to do is save her cat because that was, the tipping point for her, and she adored him. But she finds out that no matter what she does, he was always going to die, and I bawled my eyes out, and I grabbed my cats, and I cuddled them for a very long time, because I was like, no, I don't want that to happen. It hurt to read this. It was kind of too close to home. Everything goes wrong for her. It feels like she can't be a good human, even when she tries. The only thing that you were perfectly created to be is a human. And so she feels like she's failing at the one thing that she was made to do. It's about second chances at life. It's a Wonderful Life vibes. Okay, if you've seen that Christmas movie. So honestly, during the holidays, this probably wouldn't be a bad book to pick up. It's really good. It's not a unique concept in the way of a guardian angel interfering and you getting a second chance at life and getting to relive your life. I mean, we've seen A Wonderful Life. We've seen Clicked. There's 17 again. There's so many things that revolve around this concept, right? But it is a unique execution of the concept. It focuses on how one choice changes everything. One little choice has a giant butterfly effect. I'm crying 10 times because I bawled my eyes out through this whole book. I love this quote from it. It said, death is the opposite of possibility. It is, for genre, I wasn't sure what to classify this as. I think it's kind of a combination of sci-fi, spirituality, and fantasy. Another quote I liked is, it's impossible to live without hurting anyone, because she wants to fix it where she hasn't hurt a single person because she has lost so many friends. And she realizes that in order to live her life and be happy, she's always going to be the villain in someone else's story. Pain is a part of life. No life is perfect. It's very philosophy heavy. There's a lot of philosophy in here. So I gave it 5 stars and everything. This was that good of a book. And I mean, I read this months ago, guys. I've been just sitting this in my book waiting to talk about this with you. I read it months ago and I still remember the plot like word for word. And so it definitely deserves this 5-star rating because obviously it was obviously it was worth reading because you can remember it far into the future. I'm struggling over that word. So this is a 5-star read for me. And so I do highly recommend picking this one up. Again, that's The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, and I will post that down below. We already did that one. Oh, right. I screwed up on the next one. I screwed up on the thingy on it. I wrote the wrong author name and stuff. So I've got to look that up. But the next book review we will do will be Resistance of Witches. Another one that I highly recommend. Is actually part of my favorite genre, and that is historical fantasy. I really don't think enough historical fantasy exists. It's what our historical events in the world would be like if fantasy elements were involved. Like in this one, what would happen if there were witches during World War II and 1? I love it. All right, I really do. What would happen if Hitler had his own coven and the British coven had to decide if they were going to stand up against them or keep themselves secret? So we will be talking about a Resistance of Witches next, hopefully within the next week or so. Like I said before in a couple of videos ago, my schedule has been really all over the place, but I am trying to get back to it, guys. I don't know, I've been more in the mood to get ready with me's lately than these book reviews, but I'm going to try to get back into it because we have plenty of book reviews to talk about. I just haven't sat here and done them. But I'm going to let you go because I have to go edit a devotional book for a client today. Not really a client. I'm not charging her. She's my mama. And so I'm going to go edit a devotional book for her and do a little bit more knitting on Amber's blanket. And tonight I got to put up a Christmas tree and make spaghetti. So what are your guys' plans for this week? What are you doing for Thanksgiving if you're in the USA? If you're not in the USA, what are you doing anyway? Let me know down below. And if you read this book, A Midnight Library, tell me what you think. Bye, guys.